Welcome to Inspiring Teachers, a show bringing you classroom tips, motivation, and stories from successful educators. Join Tavis Beam and Danny Hogger as they explore the why of teaching.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Inspiring Teachers. I'm Danny Hogger here in studio. Tavis Beam was on special assignment. He did not have the school holiday as I did, but we move on because we have so many exciting teachers to talk to around the country. And today, Alicia Ray joins me. She's an innovative media classroom teacher and has evolved from teacher to leader. She's a positive force in student-centered learning and celebrates teachers around the world. And at aliciaray.com, you can find a lot more about her teaching, her experimentation with lesson plans. I'm so glad that you would take time for us talking coast to coast today. How's everything going on your side?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to see what we're going to do tonight.
Absolutely. Well, it's exciting for me, and I'm grateful that you'd make time. I'd been doing this show now for just a couple of months, and when I started looking online to see what kind of amazing teachers were out there, you were one of the first 10 that I found, and I was just inspired that kind of opened the door to the internet and social media and all the amazing teachers who are working really hard to spotlight the good work of other teachers and to show how many really great student-centered classrooms there are. So I'd love to know a little bit about you first and how you came to education and what your journey was that brought you into the classroom.
Oh, I love that. So my younger brother he's now 29, so I can't call him my little brother anymore. But my 29-year-old brother really had a hard time in school. My parents divorced as we were young, and so I was at home with him all the time, taking care of him, and I would be the one who was responsible for making sure his homework was done. He was one of the smartest kids I'd ever met in my life. He has talents beyond belief, but he really, really struggled in school. And so just sitting there and watching him go through the process of school, it was painful for him, where for me, it was a breeze. I never struggled in school till I got to college. And so that was, it really bothered me that my brother, who is so insanely smart, just wasn't playing the game right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to change that game. I wanted to do something different so that, kids like my brother can be successful and know that they have something very valuable to offer to the future and to people as a whole. And he does. He's amazing.
That's really neat. Of the 30 or so teachers we've talked to, there hasn't been a story like that or someone who wanted to see that happen for a family member. So that's really unique, I think. And how did you go about then proceeding towards that goal and towards that career?
So being from a very rural area here in North Carolina, we have Appalachian State University, which is our big teacher college. You may know them as the team that beat Michigan.
Okay, there you go. As a Californian, I can stay out of that fight. That's okay with me.
Just saying. So I went there and just absolutely fell in love with it from the very beginning. I knew that teaching was what I was supposed to do. It was in my blood. Like, it was just something that was so important to me. And every experience I had with students from there on out, I absolutely fell in love with it. Went into debt quite a bit.
Same here. That was a familiar sentiment. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. And so I went into 5th grade. I taught math for 2 years, math and science for 2 years, and then was self-contained for 3.5 before I became a media coordinator in an elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. And then my superintendent called and said, hey, we have this pilot position. We want to do something different. We want to merge formally an instructional coach, instructional technology specifically, and the media center. And we would love for you to do that. But, oh, yeah, you're going to have to go to a middle school. And I was like, Never done middle school before. I've always been K-6. And he said, well, let's just try it out and see. It's a 3-year pilot program. And here we are at the end of year 3. And I can't imagine anything else. It just brings me a ridiculous amount of joy to go to my job every day.
That's fantastic. That's great. I started in middle school as well. So 4 years there in my first year teaching high school. But it's funny how we all kind of look at a new challenge in a new age group and this big question mark of, well, what's that going to be like? And it's all very exciting. How was the media part of your position, how did that path open? Was that something you were always interested in? Was it something you came to later? Because it's something you're very engaged with on Twitter. You're a wonderful follow at I Love Educating, and it's ILUV, educating. You should definitely follow Alicia. What is it about media that drew to you, and how did you arrive there?
So that's actually a really funny story. About 5 years into my teaching career, I decided I wanted to do something different, but I didn't know what it was. I did not want to leave teaching. I didn't want to leave the education field, but I wanted something different. And so I kind of got involved in this instructional technology world and did a distance ed master's degree program and fell in love with instructional technology. And then I went and chatted with our HR department and said, okay, what do we have? I have this degree. I'm so excited. And they said, oh, but we don't have those positions here. And I was like, wait, what? So I just went and got this degree that I'm so pumped up about.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't do anything. And he said, well, our media coordinators are informally doing that role. And I was, oh, okay. So what you're saying is I need media licensure. And he said, well, if that's an option. Well, then that's an option I'll take because I love reading too. So I went back and got a second master's in library science. And so this new job is the greatest thing ever because it takes both of those tremendous passions that I have of instructional technology and literacy and merges them together. And it is the perfect storm in the best kind of way.
That's great. That's really phenomenal. And it's a credit to you that you saw a fork in the road, and we all kind of have these moments. Which way are you going to go next? And you had no problem accepting another challenge and going to get further education and unlocking more doors for yourself. I think that's inspiring in itself. And one of the things that I like about this show is there may be somebody watching who's considering, well, do I really want to undertake that kind of a journey? So for you, it's been very rewarding, and it's led you to a job that you're really in a position that's really exciting for you. That's great. What do you think is your why of education? Like the reason that you enjoy your work and enjoy working with students and with schools? What is that for you?
For me, it actually goes right back to what we were just talking about. It's that love of lifelong learning. Never being afraid to take risks, never being afraid to try new things, constantly finding new knowledge. I've been accused of being a creeper because I like to know all the things. If somebody gives me a little piece of information, I want to go find the rest of the puzzle. I want to know all of it. And so I really want to inspire a lifelong love of learning in all students. And I keep thinking back to my brother who, it just didn't play the game right. I want to break the game. I want to take it and completely make a new game out of it and allow all of our kids to be successful through learning whatever it is they're interested in.
That's really a wonderful thing. And a great part of, I think, education is when you can spark that inquiry and use that and give them the tools to just go and run with it. That's one of the things I love to do with my high school students is when they have a question, not be one of the teachers who says, I know every answer. I'm going to give you every answer. And there's no need to look outside my answer because I've just given it to you. I'm the opposite of, let's learn together. If you think I know all history from zero and before zero to today, you're greatly mistaken. And I would love to learn with you. So I really like empowering that as well. I think that's a really cool thing. What do you think is like one thing that as your students move on from a year, or whether it was from when you were a self-contained teacher and they go to the next grade, what's something that you hope to impart with the students that are working with you? Something that you hope, a piece of you that goes with them. What would that be?
So I want them to be enthusiastic about everything. I want them to be excited about obstacles that come wherever it may come from. I want them to be enthusiastic about overcoming those obstacles and knowing that they can come out of anything. Our family was actually, when my parents divorced, my brother and I were the Salvation Army Christmas tree angel kids.
Oh, I have a hook in there. Keep going, but I'll come back to it.
I love it.
All right.
And so we were the Salvation Army Christmas tree angel kids, and we didn't have enough to have Christmas gifts and turkey at Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. So I really relate to my students here because we're a very high poverty area, and for them to see someone who came from very similar stories to theirs and was able to not only go to college and be a first generation college student, but then to further go get 2 master's degrees and be a success within the community, that's a really big deal to me. And I want kids to see that. I want them to understand that anything is possible.
That's so huge when you can lift the ceiling on their expectations and their futures. You're unlocking them as well. I feel really strongly. I agree with you 100%. So I had the media background first. I went to college and got the radio, TV, film degree from Cal State Fullerton down in Orange County. And my first job after that was working for the Salvation Army for 2 years as the director of communications for the adult rehab centers that run all over the country. So that's interesting that we have that in common.
So cool. I love it. That's awesome.
They do a lot of really good work. And so I felt like that was the beginning of a service role where thinking I could be bigger than just working for the Los Angeles Angels, the baseball team I was working with. And there was more to life than scores and games, which is great. We need entertainment and games, but that's really cool to see that connection, because there is something about all of us as educators, whether we're stating it or not, that we are trying to serve the world and make it a better place, especially in the future. So I really like that why and that journey. That's really great. What are some things right now that are exciting to you about being involved with media and students? And what are some of either the tools or some of the approaches that you're enjoying and with the innovation? Because you're doing a lot in a lot of different directions. So what kind of things right now are you excited about?
So there are 2 really big things that I'm excited about that are, it's interesting because one is on one completely different end of the spectrum than the other. One of our big initiatives right now with literacy is that we are really pushing this idea of our students creating their own goals. And there's no reward. There is no consequence. I just want you guys to read books. I don't care what it is, if it's a graphic novel, if it's a book of poetry, if it's a picture book, if it's the complete works of William Shakespeare. I don't care. I just want you to have a book and constantly be reading. And it's been really cool to watch our kids start to pick up on this idea and not expect a reward for it. They don't expect, an ice cream party anymore. They're like, oh, so wait, reading is the reward?
That's good.
Yes, sweetheart. Yes, it is. Like, it's the best thing I could possibly give you. And then, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm loving watching our kids have these conversations in the hallways during class change. They'll come up and be like, Ms. Ray, are you reading? I'm like, yeah, I'm reading. Are you reading? And so that's a lot of fun. And then the other thing that I've been really excited about, again, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have an HTC Vive virtual reality headset. And so we are really working towards creating within the headset and allowing the students to then integrate this idea of virtual reality in an authentic, inquiry-based way, both in science, technology, engineering, and math. We're doing it in ELA. Anywhere we can go and have an excuse to put that headset on, I'm like, let's do it. Come on. So it's 2 completely different sides. It's very analog and very, very digital.
That's great. I like that because it's everything, isn't it? It's forward and current and past, but it's bridging new goals and a new way to do it. So yes. That's pretty wonderful. And I like the idea that the reading is the reward. And I like the idea that they're setting their own goals too. I do that with my students first of the year, whatever the first class day is, and tell them that, the only way to really achieve your goals is to set them. Otherwise you're doing fine. Maybe you're doing all right. Maybe you're satisfied. But to reach long-term goals means seeing them, being reminded of them, and making like tangible steps to get there. So if middle schoolers are starting out and doing that, then they'll be doing that in high school too. And if you can get them to set them themselves, no one else has to watch over their backs and shoulders to make that happen. So that is excellent. I really like that. Is there anything that you're working on right now or that you would like to promote to everyone who's listening, or just say to teachers who are out there watching? What's going on in your world right now?
So you're actually the first one to hear about this.
Ooh, it's an exclusive.
It is an exclusive. I actually will have a book coming out with Dave Burgess Consulting in August.
Excellent.
ish of 2019. The working title is Educational Eye Exam, Creating Your Vision for Education. And so it parallels, it uses the eye doctor, the optometrist, as a metaphor for education and being able to create your own educational philosophy. What is it that you believe? It's about no longer being a parrot. You know, we constantly talk about, well, this really smart person said this, and that's what I'm going to believe. But what happens when this really smart person says this, and this really smart person says this, and they don't coincide? You have to decide for yourself what's important to you in education, and what are you willing to fight for? We joke around here, you know, what's the hill you're ready to die on?
Right? Yep.
So you know, this book will help you as you're deciding, what is that hill? What are you willing to fight for in education? What is it that brings you joy? Why are you doing this every day? So I'm really excited about that. I cannot believe that this is happening. I'm just so pumped, and I'm loving reading the DBC books. I do that DBC book blogs where I've read every book that they have, and it's incredible. It's been an amazing journey, and it really sparked this idea of an educational, you know, knowing my own educational philosophy.
Yeah.
Because these people are so smart, you know? I'm sitting here like George Couros, yes. Todd Nessaloni, you know, Adam Welcome. There's just so many of them that I read, and I think, you are a genius. I love what you're saying. And I agree with all of it. But at the same time, how do I use my own words? How do I use my story?
Exactly.
To share that educational philosophy and not their story.
Exactly. And that's what we're hoping to do in this show too, is bring everybody's stories together that might fire someone else up to do something great. So that's so wonderful. We can't wait to talk to you when it comes out again and help you promote it and let more people know about it. Sounds very exciting. Sounds like a really great motivational read. And for now, I thank you so much for making time for us today so we can get your background and that other people will be inspired by your story. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been an absolutely amazing experience. I've loved being able to connect with you.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll keep in touch too as the book comes out, and we can remain close there. And we appreciate it so much. For now, everyone out there, don't forget to like and subscribe. And our new ebook is dropping right now as well, about 25 teachers, our first guests, and all of their motivation, called Inspiring Teachers, Why Teachers Teach. So go and check that out now, and we'll see you on the next edition. For now, class dismissed. Thanks everybody for watching.